Hey folks, Hal Shurtleff here, and we are in Milton, Massachusetts on Adams Street in the back of the Forbes House Museum. The Forbes Museum was merchant, Captain Forbes, who made a lot of money in the import business. His granddaughter was quite the avid supporter of Abraham Lincoln. And I think it was 1922 or 23, she had a carpenter friend of hers go out to Ogdenville, Kentucky, which is where the original log cabin that Lincoln was born is located. Today it's inside of a museum and it's encased. I did get a chance to visit it a few years ago. And this is a very interesting and unusual thing. You wouldn't find a log cabin like this in New England. In fact, just next door, basically across the street, is, I hope you can't see it through the woods, but it's the birthplace of George Herbert Walker Bush. So we'll read a little plaque here to get a historical perspective of this little cabin. This cabin is a replica of the log cabin which stands at the Abraham Lincoln birthplace in Ogdenville, Kentucky. The logs of the original cabin were hewn on the Lincoln farmstead, with its red soil used as mortar. Abraham Lincoln was born there to Thomas and Nancy Hanks Lincoln in 1809. This reproduction was built by Thomas S. Murdoch for Mary Bowditch Forbes, granddaughter of Robert Bennett Forbes, who revered Abraham Lincoln. And I understand there's inside the museum there's some Abraham Lincoln artifacts as well, who revered Abraham Lincoln and collected Lincoln memorabilia. In 1923, Murdoch traveled to Ogdenville to take measurements and replicate the appearance of the cabin there as accurately as possible. The cornerstone was laid November 19, 1923 by Mrs. George L. Torbett, who saw Lincoln nominated. Mary Bowditch Forbes opened the cabin regularly on Lincoln's birthday and Memorial Day as a place where young and old, rich and poor, and people of every diverging interest may meet as Americans in a common love of Abraham Lincoln. It was her intent in building this cabin that visitors, and particularly the young, should have here visualized Lincoln's humble beginnings. Patched occasionally during the lifetime of Mary Bowditch Forbes, 1878 to 1962, the cabin was cleaned and the grounds cleared as an Eagle Scout project in 1986. In 1989, thanks to the generosity of 12 trustees of the Captain Robert Bennett Forbes House, the building has been partially restored and made accessible to the public again. We do not know what furnishings were in the original cabin at the time of Lincoln's birth, but records suggest that Lincoln had a table, set of chairs, bureau, feather bed, a clothes press, spinning wheel, and loom, in addition to the basic kitchen equipment. The original cabin had a dirt floor. The window may have been covered with oiled paper. The Lincoln collection is now housed in the Captain Robert Forbes Bennett House. Further information on the cabin and collection may be obtained at the house. I'd visit their website. They're only opened a few hours during the week. I did get a chance to visit the museum, and it's definitely worth your travel. But this is just, this is pretty much, you can go on the grounds and take a look at this. The door is locked. It's I can only open a few times. There's not much to see in there, but I think it's quite fascinating. And living in Hyde Park, Boston, I never knew it existed till about maybe 20 years ago when I heard about it and I got a chance to visit.